Hey everybody, Shawn and B right here.
Hey.
We went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2. In case you haven't seen Guardians 1, go see it. And then go see Guardians Volume 2.
Why are you watching this if you haven't seen Guardians 1?
Exactly.
I don't know.
We're to start out spoiler free, and then we'll let you know when we get into spoilers. So starting out with Guardians 1, you find that the main character, Peter Quill, doesn't know who his father is. It kind of leads into this movie where he ends up finding out, who his father is, or more, his dad actually finds him first.
Yep.
And then you find out the motivations behind that. Coming off of Guardians 1, my expectations were, okay, let's just be more of 1. I hope it's at least as good as 1. Be lucky if it gets up to where 1 was, because 1 was really good. So went into the movie not expecting, way up here, expecting, middle ground, passable. And then I was blown away. It was definitely way better than I thought it was going to be. So many laughs, so many feels.
A lot of feels.
A lot of feels. So many good parts, though. Let's start with, Drax. And the first one, very one-dimensional character, kind of.
Yeah, I guess.
He had some funny bits, but, this time around, they actually wrote it with, I guess, Batista in mind. That gauged off of his acting ability and, how funny he could be. I didn't even know he could be funny. But he pulls off funny really well.
Yeah. A lot of people forget that, oh, he was just a wrestler. It's you gotta act to be a wrestler.
Well, there's some of them that are bad at it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that aren't good at it, but...
But the best wrestlers can do all the physical stuff, including acting.
Yeah.
Batista's character Drax came a long way from when we last saw him in the first one. Spoiler for Guardians 1. Again, I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't seen 1 yet, but in the end of 1, Groot dies, but Rocket grabs a piece of him, sticks it into a potted plant, and becomes Baby Groot and starts growing up. And this time, here in Guardians 2, he's like this little toddler plant running around.
Mm-hmm.
Very miniature version of Groot. He's fucking awesome.
What part of Groot do you think Rocket picked up and buried in the dirt?
I think it was probably a pinky or something.
I was thinking something else. But...
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure that one got blown to smithereens. But it makes you think. He only picked up one piece. What about all the other pieces that were on Xandar there that got buried in the ground? Is there a bunch of Groots just walking around there now? I don't know.
Maybe somebody burned them for fire.
For firewood.
This firewood is sounding really weird.
I am Groot!
I don't know why, but I didn't really expect him to be an infant. I just thought he would be Groot, just really tiny.
Yeah, just small Groot.
And he was an infant. It was weird just because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Mainly. If I had known that going in, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. Whereas... I was oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Let's go to Gamora, with her, and with Nebula. Their sisterly conflicts.
I don't know if it was really that more than what we got in the first movie.
Well, you got in the first movie that she didn't like Gamora, and you didn't really know why, other than she seemed to be the favorite. Gamora seemed to be the favorite daughter, and she hated her for it. Yeah. It's well, that's kind of shallow. It's kind of, all right, there's not much more to it than that. And they kind of fleshed it out a little bit more in this one.
A little bit more, but it wasn't as deep as it went into the other characters.
True. Yeah, as far as Nebula and Gamora go, they seem to have gotten the backstory short end of the stick kind of thing. They didn't get much more fleshed out than the others did.
Yeah.
You had a whole bunch with Star-Lord, Peter Quill. Of course, because it's all about the whole movie's about him finding his dad, and where their relationship goes from there. Yeah, you get to see more of Rocket. Then again, not much more happening with him either, other than realizing he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's a real big dick in this movie.
A little bit.
I kind of didn't really like him in this movie.
I like Rocket Raccoon. But in Guardians 2, he was one of my least favorite to watch on screen at the time. I was okay, it's Rocket. Anyways, let's get back to Drax. Let's hear what funny stuff he has to say now.
Well, in Guardians 1, he was just kind of an asshole. This movie, he was a dick. If he wasn't, he was such big of a dick, he caused, the biggest problem in the movie.
Yeah.
and then inadvertently caused the second biggest problem in the movie.
True.
Like, because he was a dick and stole batteries for no fucking reason,
Yeah.
they got chased by a whole planet,
Mm.
basically. And then because he wouldn't just let Star-Lord just fly his fucking plane around, they ended up crashing, basically.
Yeah. It's all Rocket's fault. So basically, Rocket is Kyle.
Basically,
Because
yeah.
it's all Kyle's fault. It's all Rocket's fault.
Mm.
Do you want to dive into spoilers?
Sure, let's
Yeah.
go for it.
All right. So, spoiler alert.
We could just, like, go basically through the movie fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It's like, the opening part.
They're fighting that big-ass monster.
Fighting a big-ass monster, and Groot's just dancing around.
Mm. That was
really cool.
Baby Groot just dancing around, you know,
Mhm.
after he, like, fumbles with the plug to, like, oh, there we go, went in. And then
Yeah.
music started working. It was a cool way to start out the movie.
I also wonder how far removed from the first Guardians of the Galaxy this one is.
Mm.
I would imagine not very far.
Yeah.
Maybe a month.
Could be anywhere from, like, a month, 6
They don't
months.
seem like that great of a team so far.
Yeah, they seem a little bit closer, a little bit more familiar with each other. Especially between, like, Drax and Star-Lord. Seem closer.
Yeah. But there's still, like, not a lot of great communication going on.
No, not at all. Rocket and Star-Lord are still arguing.
They aren't a cohesive unit
No.
yet. And it kind of shows in that first battle.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, they come out on top, but very easily could have lost Drax getting eaten.
Yeah.
Because he just wants to run in and...
Yeah, he doesn't think about it. He's just
Doesn't
like, yeah, I'm all charged up. Let's get... Almost like Thor, you know, just wants to charge into battle.
Yep.
Doesn't really think it through until, oh, crap, I shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we go into that really awesome credit scene, our opening credits.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Groot dancing around while they're fuzzy background fighting. Then, yeah, Rocket steals the battery from the golden people.
Yep.
I forget their names.
And calls them, like, douchebags. And,
Yeah, calls them douchebags and stuff.
and then winks at them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And then they walk
okay,
out.
it's like you got lucky by getting away with calling them douchebags.
Mm.
But you stole the batteries, too.
Yeah.
So then they chase after you, and they're basically...
They're not
remote
actually,
controlled.
Yeah, they're like drones.
Yeah, they're remote-controlled drones, and for some reason they have video game noises.
Yeah, they're in an arcade. I actually like that, though.
It kind of, I don't know, it was like a little bit too much for me.
Mm.
I'm just like, why do they all have everything from Earth, basically?
Yeah. Well, it makes you think, though, like, obviously there's in this universe, there's aliens out there way more advanced than what Earth is at right now.
Sure.
So, like, how much of alien influence has made its way to Earth without the rest of Earth realizing it? So, like, you know, so it seems like we created those arcade noises here on Earth, but actually they're actual noises and sound bit files from actual working mechanics out there.
But, like, why not have, like, a more comfortable seating situation than, like, riding, like, the motorbike that you see at the arcade?
Yeah.
Why not have, a better, more detailed screen to look at?
It almost seemed like...
and why is there a game over sound when you die?
Yeah.
That is like, you don't need that.
No.
You know what happened.
Yeah, those seats look incredibly uncomfortable. Almost like when Batman's running on the Batpod.
Yeah.
He's, like, very forward-facing. So they try to escape them. Rocket and Star-Lord argue about who's actually piloting the ship. Then they crash into a planet.
They barely escape because Star-Lord's dad shows up.
Yeah, they just see this other ship.
This guy riding in this other ship.
Yeah,
I don't know why
he's got like reins and he's like riding the outside of it. Like,
yeah, it's like, why does he need to do that? Why doesn't he sit inside?
Yeah. But he destroys the drones and then they end up crashing into the planet and he comes down and he meets them and introduces himself as Star-Lord's dad and says, you know, hey boy, I want to show you my home world. You know, come on, let's go. So him, Drax, and Gamora head out while Groot and Rocket Raccoon are guarding Nebula because they picked her up when they got the bat. That's why they destroyed the creature, was to get her out of custody to take her over to Xandar to face trial for last movie stuff.
Why did they just leave Rocket there? Seemed like a better idea to leave more people there to guard.
Yeah, you figured like maybe Drax and Star-Lord head out, and then Gamora stays
Yeah.
since it's her sister to begin with.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Then you go to like this like icy snow planet that's basically like a whore town.
yeah, still Sylvester Stallone's chilling there.
Yeah.
Like the crew that they were showing at the very end, one of the many end credit scenes, they had Sylvester Stallone, Ving Rhames, and a couple other people. Michelle Yeoh, I think is her name. When they get together at the end of the movie and they're talking about Sylvester Stallone and them are talking about getting the old gang back together, basically. And in the comics, they were the original Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Sylvester Stallone's character is called Starhawk, I think. It's a part of comics I never got too far into.
Yeah, he was Starhawk.
Okay.
You find out that like Yondu got like disbarred and he's not gonna get like this the funeral he would.
Oh yeah, he's like, you're not getting any of the rights of the rest of us get when we die, like the funeral and the recognition and the banners and
he was basically kicked out for transporting kids.
Yeah.
Basically,
kid trafficking, basically.
Yeah. And he says that like he didn't know they were that was going to be kids. I was like, you had to know once he showed up.
Yeah. So Star-Lord, Drax, and Kurt Russell, who plays Ego, goes off to Ego's planet.
Mm-hmm.
And Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and Nebula are there, and the Ravagers show up, which Rocket had some pretty cool...
Because the gold people hired Yondu.
He's like, you got to track them down. We want revenge. You know, they can't steal from us, all this stuff. So he's like, all right. So they end up tracking them down. Rocket has all these really cool traps and everything set up, and he takes a couple of them down. It's pretty cool. And then Nebula shows up that she broke out because she talked to Baby Groot and convinced him that she was going to help Rocket, but of course she double crosses him.
Yep. And
all the while, also, there's the whole thing where Taserface, one of Yondu's underlings, one of his captains or whatever, or lieutenants,
starts a mutiny.
Starts a mutiny. And he's calling the captain soft and all this stuff, and he's starting to get others on his side, and ends
up taking over.
Yep, ends up taking over. So now it's the House of Taserface.
Yes. And in a really dark scene, they kill off all of like Yondu's supporters.
All of his loyalists.
All the loyal people.
Except his second in command, because he kind of helped Taserface do the mutiny.
But they kill him off by like just letting them like
throwing him into space
and just
throwing him out of the airlock.
Yeah, it's like you see one guy that was like, it's like, hi, I'm an extra, but I'm getting a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
They shoot him off and it shows like, I don't know, maybe like 20 or 30 other people out and just
they're just
floating in space.
There.
It's like, well, that sucks.
Yeah. But they throw him into a cell and they're figuring out what to do with them, and it led into one of the best parts of the movie, one of the funniest parts of the movie, is when they got little tiny baby Groot, outside of the cell, and Rocket and Yondu are in there, and Yondu's head fin that controls his arrow got damaged, so he needed his old prototype fin that looks more like the comic book version. It's secure in another part of the ship, so they're trying to describe to Baby Groot how to get it, and go get it and bring it back. He ends up bringing back a desk, and
he brings back a desk.
all sorts of random shit. That he even brings back was it human thumb or toe?
It was a toe.
It was a toe. and
Yondu is just disgusted.
Yeah.
Like, he's not mad.
Mm-hmm.
He's just disgusted. It's like...
And Rocket's just awestruck, like, where did you even get that? Who's he? Why did we not hear screaming if that came off of somebody? What? We're not even going to talk about it. We're going to pretend that never happened. We're just going to move on. Eventually, he brings it to him. After a really funny one of when Groot brings Yondu his underwear, which is yellowed and browned and tinged.
Yep.
All torn up and ratted.
Why is he wearing Earth underwear?
I don't know.
Why would he even wear underwear?
Yeah. Yondu seems kind of like a free baller,
Yeah.
That's just me.
Maybe that's why they were hanging out. It's like, I don't need these anymore.
Yeah. So he puts on his new fin, and he sends his arrow going through the ship, especially when he goes out to the where the command center is with all the cameras and shit and the monitors, and he just sees where everybody is. You get this top-down view of his arrow just going ape shit, killing all the people that did mutiny on him.
Yep. Except for the first guy who was like first in command.
Yeah, because
he helped him escape.
Yeah, he helps Groot actually go get it, get the fin.
And, that's exact. I didn't mean to start mutiny.
They
killed all my friends. Cool little sequence of just like him killing everybody with this little arrow thing.
Mm-hmm. Like in the first Guardians when he did that, he's just on the little hillside or whatever. And there's like maybe 12 guys in a ship, and it just went through everybody. You thought that was badass. Like he's going through his whole entire ship with that thing.
Yep.
And just guys raining around them off of the railings in slow motion.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Kills them all.
Mm-hmm.
Then decides to kill Laserface.
Yeah.
In the dumbest way possible. Instead of just ending him really quick, he decides to blow it up.
Blow up half the
ship. And ends up giving him Laserface enough time to call the gold people.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is where these people are going.
Yeah.
Basically. Then Laserface dies.
Mm-hmm. So then
with everybody knowing his name is Laserface, and it's dumb.
And the golden person on the other end taking the call, she starts chuckling at him when he says, and then tell them Taserface sent you. And she's like, so they all get into Yondu's ship.
Yep.
And they're going to do jumps to make their way over to Ego's world to meet up with Quill.
And they got to do way too many.
Because Yondu knows exactly the type of person that Star-Lord's dad is.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, we got to go save that kid. We got to go get him. And Rocket's like, all right, let's go get him. So they start doing jumps. And Yondu tells Rocket, what in the hell did you just do? Because the human body, or like most regular bodies, can only withstand 14 jumps maybe before it really starts taking damage to them.
It was a low number.
He's like, we're doing 700! And they just jumping everywhere, and their faces were just...
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
They became like anime faces, kind of. The giant eyes and everything.
Oh, yeah, when your jaw drops down, your tongue wags out. And
And you're just screaming the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That was funny.
Finally, we get back to Peter Quill, and they find out that, like, his dad's kind of like a god.
Yeah.
And that he's half a god. And
explains to him he started out as a brain floating in space who turned into a planet who was able to make his own body to go out into the universe and interact with people.
Yeah.
And he kind of like gives a rough story of how him and Peter's mom met and how they loved each other and stuff like that, and that he had to leave the planet because he can only be away so long from his planet.
Yeah.
Before it hurts his body or whatever.
Yeah. And he shows him like how to start creating things.
Oh yeah, to start making blue electricity.
Yeah. And he creates like a little ball and they play catch.
It was ultimately super cheesy, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Because like he makes a ball and he tosses it over to Kurt Russell, and Kurt Russell, like, it's a very rough type of ball, and Kurt Russell kind of smooths it out with one motion.
Yeah.
And he looks at it and like, oh, they're going to start playing catch. And then, they start backing up and playing catch with each other. It's like, ah.
Yeah. And and on the other side, you got Drax and Gamora and the empath lady. Whatever. Mantis.
Yeah, Drax and Mantis have some really good chemistry. He basically tells her that she's ugly, but that only means that she's beautiful on the inside, because she's so ugly and hideous on the outside.
Yeah. But it showed like Drax, he's just kind of this really tough guy and all that, but then she touches him and then she's just
oh yeah, that part
basically has her heart broken.
Because he's talking about his daughter,
and
his wife, which were murdered by Thanos.
Yeah.
They're murdered by Ronan, but really at Thanos' orders.
Mm-hmm.
And he has so much anger and sorrow and everything within him that he just kind of bottles in there now. That, she's overcome with emotion she's never felt before.
Yeah.
And, he's got a straight face. Like, he's not crying or anything, but, like, he's just very stone, like, that's how it was. But she's, like, tears streaming down her face just by feeling what he feels. Definitely one of those feels moments.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, ooh.
Gamora ends up arguing with Peter. I can't remember over what. She, like, charges off.
Yeah, she just storms off.
Yeah, ends up out in the middle of nowhere for some reason.
Yeah, Nebula comes in with a ship and starts shooting at her.
Yep.
Then they have this whole bonding experience where they kind of catch up.
Which is really weird.
Yeah. So, Ego, kind of in a way, doesn't brainwash Star-Lord. He, like, touches his forehead or whatever, and his eyes, like, have the reflection of the galaxy within it. And he becomes more susceptible to what Ego's telling him. You know, about how it's your destiny. We're going to basically mold the universe in our image, and, you know, because he's, like, planted these bits of himself on all these other planets, and he's going to absorb the whole planet, so he's a bigger entity.
Yeah. Much like how Rocket planted a baby Groot, he planted baby ions.
Yeah.
On other planets. Connecting the movies.
And he seems to be going along with it in a brainwashed kind of way until Ego says, yeah, I feel bad about, you know, giving your mother that brain cancer and killing her. He's like, wait, what? You did what?
Yeah, I was like,
oh,
why even tell him that?
Why not just keep that secret, and then your whole plan just keeps going along like nothing.
Keep lying.
Yeah. But he's almost too smug, too, because he's a god. He's like,
yeah,
I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
Fuck you, you know. And I think one of the coolest parts is that he also mentions that he's had a multitude of other children by other, you know, alien races. And Peter was the first human, you know, half human that he's had. Because none of the other children that he's spawned with have come out with the same powers that he did.
Yeah.
None of it transferred to them.
Yep.
In order for his plan to work, he has to have another Celestial like him. So that's why he's trying to create, you know, a son or daughter that will carry on his Celestial genes, so he has enough power to create his plan, you know, to continue on his plan. And he mentions that, yeah, he had all these other kids, and Gamora and Nebula actually find all the bodies, just a whole mess of skeletons in a pit.
He just kills them off.
Yeah.
Once they have no use to him.
And he's so cocky about it that he doesn't even realize that Peter's the first one that can tap into that power.
Yep.
And can potentially be just as powerful as Ego himself.
Yep.
By using that same power, but he's got an ego. You know, he doesn't care. He says that to Peter and doesn't think that, you know, Peter would react the way he did.
Nope.
And so they end up fighting. Just beats the ever-living hell out of each other, and Rocket takes those batteries that he stole in the first place, and makes a bomb out of it, and Groot's the only one that's small enough to, like, get to the center of Ego's planet where the brain is at. From there, it's like basically the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
is all the fight scene and them, you know, trying to just get the planet to explode to kill Ego and then get the hell out of there. And that's when the major feels moment happens. That's when you find out who the real star of the whole movie was.
Yep. Michael Rooker. Who knew? They made you care about Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
Who's kind of a scumbag.
He's a scumbag in Mallrats. He got stink palmed. He's a scumbag in The Walking Dead. You get to see Yondu in the first movie just kind of be like, almost like an abusive adoptive father, in a way. He took Peter, didn't deliver him to his dad like he was supposed to, took him on as one of his crew, and his excuse was that he was small, and he could fit in places where the other guys couldn't, so it made him good at stealing shit.
Yeah.
Because there's a part where he only has one, like, respirator force field thing and a one rocket pack.
Yep.
because Quill's helmet thing that he uses got damaged, so it wasn't usable anymore to breathe in space. Yeah. So he slaps that on Quill, and Yondu has the jetpack on, and he grabs him, because they're the last two on there before the planet explodes, and he takes him up, and suddenly Star-Lord realizes what he's doing, and he's like, sees that Yondu's running out of air as they hit space. Yeah. And he starts to freeze, like his crew did when they were. And Yondu
like tells him to use his daddy or something like that. You may have found your father, but I was always your daddy. Something like that.
Something like, yeah. Well, you find out this whole touching moment where he does a flashback of like young Peter Quill, and like Yondu's teaching him how to shoot his pistols that he's got.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff, and you realize that the whole reason he never delivered them is because he knew what was happening to those kids he was delivering, and he got too attached to Peter Quill, and he saw a son in him.
Yep.
And that's why he never, when he took out the bounty on him in the first movie, he wanted him alive, not dead.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so his crew was kind of right in assuming he's getting soft.
Yeah.
But he's getting soft because he saw a son and Star-Lord, and he sacrificed his life to save him, to make sure he could live.
Yeah.
And then he got his Ravager funeral after all.
Yeah, which is basically just fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks, which is cool. I mean, they all showed up and they all did that salute thing.
Yep.
And it was cool.
I was expecting something really big, and it was like, oh, it's just fireworks.
Yeah.
Okay.
They went to Chinatown. They got $20 worth of fireworks, and they're just firing them into space.
They made it sound like this really huge big thing, and it was like, I was expecting like this really huge big thing, and it was just fireworks.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Meh. It was a really cool scene, though. Like
it was really cool and emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very emotional.
Yeah. And then the first in command guy gives Peter a Zune that Yondu had picked up at some like.
You could fit about 200 songs on there. 200 songs.
Yeah, picked up like from like space station, gas station.
Yeah.
And then Peter gives the guy the arrow thing.
Oh yeah, Rocket had because Yondu's arrow got smashed, and so Rocket was able to like weld it back together, and then he gave it to Yondu's second in command, the one that said sorry, I didn't mean to mutiny.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up wearing the hood in a after credits scene, so he's got the fin on his head, and which seems kind of morbid because that was part of his body when I thought they burned him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a different fin that he had at another time.
Yeah.
But he's trying to whistle and control the thing. He's failing horribly. Ends up stabbing Drax in the shoulder.
Yeah. And he's just wailing.
Just
like and it's like in the first movie he got like chokeslammed.
Mm-hmm.
And got thrown into like this orange vat of goop or whatever.
Stabbed him to get the goop out.
Yeah, and like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Gets stabbed by this thing and just like screams like
Bloody
he was
murder.
Shot. Comically screaming. It was hilarious.
And he's like all embarrassed, like, oh crap, I just did that. He walks away like.
Yeah.
So many end credit scenes though. There was that part. The part where they show the original Guardians of the Galaxy with Sylvester Stallone and them. There was... Oh, damn it.
The gold people.
The gold people.
They made a new one.
Yeah, the leader of the gold people, she has a cocoon that she made in a birthing pod or whatever they called it.
And she's making a butterfly.
Yeah. Well, she calls it Adam, so it only goes to assume it's going to be Adam Warlock.
Yep.
So... that'd be pretty cool to see. And Adam Warlock actually had a big part to do with the Infinity War, or the Infinity Gauntlet series. He actually, in the comics, he had the Soul Gem.
Was he a good guy or a bad guy?
He's a good guy.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Because he's one of the Guardians for a while.
Yeah. I know you said that like you like this one better than the first one.
I do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think I like the first one better. It may have been just because of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I went into the first one with zero expectations. Like, okay, this is I don't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked all these other Marvel movies though. I'll go ahead and go see this. And it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I had tempered expectations just because of all the things that are coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, something's going to be bad. I'm just going to lower my expectations for everything. Something's going to disappoint me. And while I wouldn't say that this one disappointed me, I don't know if I would liked it as good as the first one. I do need to see it again.
I'm definitely going to see it again.
Wasn't really an optimal viewing experience first time.
Yeah, we were sitting in the second row.
Yeah, second row. And
so we're doing this the whole time.
Anytime anything got moves too quickly, I got dizzy and had to close my eyes and look away. Maybe wait a week or two so crowds will thin out.
Yeah, you can actually get a good spot in the middle of the theater.
Yeah. But no, I still think it was a very good movie. I just think it's maybe just a notch below the first one. But that's as of right now. Once I see it again, I could change my mind and say it's better.
True. I mean, with the first one, I felt like, because this Guardians was never a comic book that I read a whole lot of. I knew the characters, I knew of them, I knew what their powers were or where their kind of their backstories and stuff, but didn't care to read them on a monthly basis. It was just never a book I picked up and knew about their adventures and whatnot. I knew that if they were involved with something the Avengers did, or the Infinity War or something like that, the Infinity Gauntlet, but their own bullshit they had going on didn't know anything about. So going in, being familiar with those characters, and just seeing what the movie versions were like, it was cool to see them pull it together and we bring everybody together and here's this story. So it's like a origin team story, kind of. So they're just getting familiar with each other, and you're kind of deciding whether or not you care about these characters. And at the end, you're like, okay, I care about them.
Yeah.
And then with this one, you're already familiar with most of them, and you've already realized that you care about them. But then it's we know you care about these characters. Now we're gonna put you through the emotional ringer.
Yep.
Give them so much more personality. Drax was a huge improvement in this movie than the last movie.
He was my favorite character in the first movie. He's still my favorite character.
He was awesome in this one. One of the favorite parts is when they're asking him if he's going to wear one of the jetpack things. He goes, no, nipples are too sensitive. It hurts. They're what? No, and later on, they slap one on him and he gets shot off. He goes, oh, my nipples! It was just amazing.
That and Michael Rooker.
Oh, when they're coming down, he's holding the thing and he goes, and Star-Lord looks at him and he goes, you look like Mary Poppins. He goes, is he a cool guy? And he's like, yeah, sure, he's a cool guy. He's like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
That made me laugh the hardest. That part was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
There's so much more comedy in this one, too. I think that's why I enjoyed it way more.
I liked how in the first one, it was just you had a bad guy who was definitely the bad guy all the way through.
Yeah.
And it's Kurt Russell's going to end up being a bad guy. But he was playing a nice guy at the beginning. And it's basically for people who don't know. To get that little bit of a, oh.
Yeah.
And I just thought Ronan was a better bad guy in the sense that he was just the bad guy the whole time. But who knows? If I see it again,
yeah, we're definitely gonna have to. We're definitely gonna watch that again.
Yeah. So what would you rate it? I
would rate it 5 out of 6 amputated toes Baby Groot brings to you.
I give it 4 Mary Poppins.
That's a lot of Mary Poppins, actually.
Yes. She's got a lot of shit in that bag.
It's popping. All right. Well, thanks for watching our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 review. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you agree, disagree? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? Your favorite character? Let us know. We'd like to discuss with you. Go ahead and click that like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so now, and stay tuned for all the content we got coming later. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
What's that guy's name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
He's the dude that he's in. Damn it. He's been in all the Mission Impossible movies. He was in Pulp Fiction. He was Marcellus Wallace.
Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames, that's it.